She wasn't kidding when she said I really was the lone sheep. So y'all, my name's Haley, and I have a new life in Christ. I struggle.
Hi, Haley.
Hi, y'all. I struggle well with anxiety, depression, and sexual abuse.
Hi, Haley.
When we meet real tragedy in life, we can react in two ways. Either by losing hope and falling into self-destructive habits, or using this challenge to find our inner strength in the Dalai Lama. See, I didn't start off finding my inner strength. Instead, I went down the path of self-destructive habits. I, like most, have many of them, and the longer I indulged in them, the worse they got. I smoked cigarettes, drank plenty of alcohol, starved myself, and even harmed myself, all attempts to run from my pain. Then I looked on all the works that my hands had done, and on the labor in which I had toiled, and indeed, all was vanity and grasping for the wind. There was no profit under the sun. Ecclesiastes 2, verse 11. I was at the end of my rope, and I had no more hope in anything, and the only emotion I can feel was a deep sadness. I was in a deep bout of depression, and this time it was really taking a toll on me and others around me. See, I had experienced a serious trauma, and that's what led me down my road of depression. It was so deep, at times I couldn't even remember what happiness even felt like. I struggled this way for months and finally sought help professionally. There's unfortunately a social stigma around mental health and seeking help. I remember feeling slightly embarrassed that I needed help to be what I considered normal again. During this time, I met up with an old friend, and she was the one that brought me into Regen. I had some doubt that this would actually be effective for me. I mean, God did let what happened to me happen, right? But each week I came, and I was doing my work. I started to see a relationship forming between God and I, which I'd never had before. I grew up in church my whole life, but I was never taught how to have a relationship with God. And as the months went on, I was curious to see how God was going to use me. I figured since I was so young and inexperienced, I didn't have anything to offer. Let no one despise your youth, but be an example to the believers in word, in conduct, in love, in spirit, in faith, and in purity. 1 Timothy 4:12. My sisters in Regen gave me this verse, and it's helped reaffirm that God can still use me despite my age and lack of experience. God has shown me how he intends to use me, and although these results aren't to be seen immediately, I am excited to see what he has planned for me. I can now see the good that can come from my trauma and how I can help others by using my testimony to glorify God. For you formed my inward parts. You covered me in my mother's womb. I will praise you, for I am fearfully and wonderfully made. Marvelous are your works, and that my soul knows very well. Psalms 139, 13 through 14. My life has done a complete 180. See, I'd always had a plan for my life, and now there isn't a plan I follow anymore. I take life one day at a time, one moment at a time, living through the valleys and the mountaintops, and fully immersing myself in both, knowing that they never last. I know it's hard, believe me. I know it feels like tomorrow will never come, and today will be the most difficult day to get through. But I swear you will get through. The hurt will pass, as it always does. And if you give it time and let it sow, let it go. Slowly, like a broken promise. Let it go. Ruby Clark.